the first, the last, the only episode of Helping Hands, the game show that is all about sex and orgasm and maybe some other random stuff. I'm your host, Seth, the self-induced orgasm expert, Harper, and these are my helping hands, Alicia, Sol, Cindy, and Patrick. Now, let's meet our contestant. Young lady, would you be ever so kind as to scoot? What happened? I don't know.
It's that pointer getting showed up.
Get the contestant. He broke the projector.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah. If you'd be ever so kind as to draw one name out of our contestant pool. Draw one name out of our contestant pool. And for our contestant, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the first, last, and only contestant of the show, Dr. Michael Chow. Now, wow, that sure is a mouthful, especially when you're open first thing in the morning. Do you mind if I call you Bob? Excellent, excellent. Bob's probably going to be easier for me to remember throughout this whole thing. So Bob, as I understand it, you achieved your PhD in development and genetics, and then went on to complete a postdoc in neuroscience. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, well, then great. You should have some knowledge about sex and orgasm already. Not on a personal life, but at least on a theoretical basis. So, let's play Helping Hands, shall we, Bob?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. First question. How would you describe pleasure? Now, before you answer, I want you to give me two potential answers. What you think the general public might describe pleasure as, and you as a neuroscientist, how you would describe it, Bob.
How would you describe pleasure? The general public is something that's enjoyable, something that makes me feel good. I guess from the neuro perspective, it would be something that is rewarding, that drives some evolutionary beneficial behavior.
Well, that sounds excellent, Bob. Let's see what the general public had to say. These were the answers that the general public provided. Positive emotional stimulation, happiness, joy, feel good, makes you smile, endorphins raise the roof, obsession, excitement, satisfaction, stress relief, eating chocolate. And the winner is happiness, joy, feel good. So excellent job, Bob. We don't keep points here because nobody cares. Because it's a show. So here's Felicia to tell us a little bit more about pleasure.
Liking or pleasure is basically especially a hedonic reaction to the pleasure of the reward. It's like basically like chocolate. It starts in the hedonic hotspots, which is capable of amplifying pleasures such as eating something sweet that produces conscious pleasure. And the basically that is neurochemically stimulators, and the neurochemicals such as endocannabinoids, orexins, and GABA. Endothiazepines, and what plays a role in the pleasure liking, the brain sites that are activated by eating food, pleasurable food, such as something sweet or salty. Sites are the nucleus incumbens, and the ventral pallidum, and the brainstem, and which are the lower brainstem systems, such as the mesolimbic dopamine projectors.
thank you, Felicia. You mentioned something about cannabinoids just now. It looks from the audience that we might have some people that are familiar with those. Let's continue to question number 2, shall we, Bob? Question number 2. Do you think taste receptors, T1R1, T1R2, and T1R3, are present in other parts of the body, such as the pancreas, taste, guts, or brain? Now, we're going to provide you with the given answers from the public, and these were what they were. No, yes, yes, but they're not expressed. Maybe, yes, because sometimes your brain can taste food for you. Which of those answers would you think is the popular answer, and which one would you call the correct answer?
Sounds like a trick question. My intellect tells me no, but my gut tells me to guess yes, so I'm going to go with yes.
Is that for the popular answer or the correct answer?
That's for the popular. I know that's. I guess that's for the correct answer.
What would you say was the popular answer, Bob?
Yes, because there's sometimes the brain can taste food.
Excellent choice, Bob. You're probably wrong, but. And now, my helping hand Saul is going to stand up and tell us a little bit more about these taste receptors.
Yeah, the answer is yes, and the Dr. Chang is correct. Because the proteins T1R1 and T1R2, T1R3 are also found to be present in the nasal epithelium, gut, pancreas, kidney, testes, and brain in other various organs. So T1R1 and T1R3 are stimulated by L-amino acids and as well as glycine. So for example, so all these T1R receptors present in other organs are glucose sensing, doing glucose sensing. So for example, in brain, 24-hour food deprivation shown to increase the level of T1R1 and T1R2. In the hypothalamus, the area involved in the control of energy balance. And also T1R2 and 3 proteins are critical for normal quantitative perception of sugars. So if you see these pictures, so the A represents the control of homeostatic eating. So the adipose tissue, whenever we sense some kind of glucose, they secrete leptin. And then it just it stimulates the hypothalamic nucleus and the MTS system, which is we makes it like we are full, and then we get a satiation from this stimulation. So this one decreases the feeling like eating. But in B, this is brain control of hedonic eating, which is we get like very satisfied by eating food. So also this leptin acts on the ventral tegmental area, and then this one affects the NAC, which secretes the MFSC, BP, and LH, these outputs. So it can either enhance or reduce the rewarding of the food. So this food reward increases. This one is also called as the mesolimbic pathway or dopaminergic pathway. Felicia mentioned about the dopamine, which increase our satisfaction or our stimulus of liking or wanting pathway. This one is always also related to the orgasm.
Thank you, Sol. Yes, my liver is still feeling some of the T1 receptor responses from the stuff I had last night. Whew. Question number 3, Bob. What is an orgasm? Popular and neuroscientific correct answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess from your introduction, I guess the answer is I don't know, right?
Let's keep it simple, Bob. I make the jokes around here.
Wow, it's hard to define. Well, let's just see what kind of popular answers there are, right? I don't know how to give it popular.
Okay, so my initial assumptions were correct. Popular answers consist of physical and chemical response to stimulation, excitation, peak, climax, tingling, something you like on your penis, pleasure release, expression of pleasure.
That's kind of misogynist.
These are real answers.
These are real answers from a survey of an undetermined number because I don't know. And the popular answer, Bob, was excitation, peak, and climax. So if you had to take a guess now as a neuroscientist, what would you say would be the correct answer?
Yeah, it'd have to be, I think that'd be the first one. Or the,
Well, these were just answers given by random people.
Sure.
They weren't actually given to people. We'll see what Cindy has to say about it.
So the first thing to understand is that the sexual cycle has 3 phases: excitement, climax, and then resolution. You can actually go through 2 of those cycles without experiencing one, and I think you can guess which one people skip. So they actually experimented on 4 test groups: normal women not experiencing an orgasm, women resting, and then women faking an orgasm, someone being sexually aroused, and then one going through an orgasm. So the definition they came up with is an orgasm is an autonomic nervous system response which leads to muscular contractions, changes in heart rate, blood pressure, respiratory rate, and causes vocal stimulation. So does that sound like eating as well?
Very much so, Cindy.
So if we look here, the places that get stimulated are the amygdala and the nucleus accumbens. There are lots focused on, but I'm going to focus on these 2 because those are also seen with the eating. So the nucleus accumbens is known for pleasure, things that you like. So it makes sense that the nucleus accumbens get stimulated when you eat something that's good and when you go through an orgasm. The amygdala is known to send signals to the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is what secretes hormones to get the rest of your body prepared. So the spinal cord is what first sends the signal. So everything in your pelvic region, called the urogenital reflex, sends it up to your spinal cord, then it goes up into these areas. Should we go more detail?
Absolutely, Cindy.
Okay. So when you experience an orgasm, they tested these on women. Women are more likely to experience pleasure, pain, empathy, and craving all in that 3 seconds to an hour it could last in that orgasm.
Really? So that means that women wanting to cuddle after is not a fault of their own, but a result of their brain telling them to. Is that correct, Cindy?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, so if women don't want to cuddle men, that means you probably didn't do your job right. All right, shall we go to the last question?
let's go to the last
All right, Bob, let's do it. Question number 4. Oxytocin and prolactin are hormones known to affect women for uterine contraction and milk production. Would they have any relationship to orgasm? Public answers were no, yes, maybe or probably, and, well, sometimes I lactate when I orgasm. What do you think was the popular answer? What do you think is the correct answer, Bob?
That's a good question. Okay. Popular answers probably, maybe, probably. I'm going to go with yes for the correct answer.
All right, well, we really don't care, so let's see. Yes is correct, Bob. All right. Feel good about yourself. Pat yourself on that. Go ahead. Gotta get a new test. And here's Patrick to tell us a little bit about it.
All right, oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus, but stored and secreted by the posterior pituitary gland. And it acts primarily as a neuromodulator in the brain. It has peripheral hormonal actions and also actions in the brain. They're mediated by specific high-affinity oxytocin receptors. The receptors are metabotropic GPCR. They're expressed in many neurons of the brain, particularly the amygdala, ventromedial hypothalamus, septum, nucleus accumbens, as she previously just said, and the brainstem. It evokes feelings of contentment, reductions in anxiety, feelings of calmness and security around the mate. This suggests that oxytocin may be important for the inhibition of the brain regions associated with behavioral control, fear, and anxiety, thus allowing orgasm to occur. Prolactin is produced in the anterior pituitary gland, and the receptors are called PRL receptors. It's a type of cytokine receptor. They're found in the mammillary glands, ovaries, pituitary glands, heart, lung, thymus, spleen, and other areas of the CNS. Hyperprolactinemia has been shown to be associated with pronounced reductions of both sexual motivation and function. By this, prolactin is probably responsible for the refractory period. although further research is needed.
I don't know about you, Patrick, but I think I might have some prolactin coursing through my veins right now. Well, Bob, that concludes our questions for you. So everyone give him a round of applause. And that, can you please show our contestant what he's won?
Yeah.